It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
My ex-husband created a dating profile on a website looking for a transgender woman, and he used our children's names and birthday on the profile. On the tag profile, I am corresponding with people, of course, and the main person that I corresponded with, and of course who this story's about, was my ex-husband. So we corresponded, we met via tag.com. So we moved the conversation from tag to Yahoo Messenger, and we communicated via Yahoo Messenger for quite some time when he asked me, to go out. So I'm like, okay. So we went out, and he was like smitten. He was taken back that I looked the way that I looked. He said he was shocked when he seen me on Messenger, but seeing me in person, I guess really just had him like, oh my God, like I just hit the jackpot or whatever. Like he told me, he was like, I've never been with anybody who looks as good as you, not to toot my own horn. And again, this was, over a decade ago. I'm still that girl, but I was definitely that girl. Okay? 21-year-old Ari was something, all right? So 20-year-old, 21-year-old, was definitely something.
What a decade could do.
We started dating. As we're dating, of course, we grown, he grown, I'm grown, and we become physical. Well, when we become physical, literally a couple weeks later, I get super, super sick. I had my homegirl, AW, take me to the emergency room because I'm thinking like I got alcohol poisoning or something like that because we had just went out. Come to find out, no, sis did not have alcohol poisoning. Sis was pregnant. So I'm losing my mind because, quite honestly, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and I did not want to have another baby out of wedlock. Again, it's because the way I was raised, I was just like, oh my God, like this cannot be happening. I'm on birth control. Like, how did I get here? But, but you doing what grown folks do, that's how you get there. So, anywho, I'm pregnant, and I call him like, I'm pregnant. He like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Like, I don't, he was the only person I had been with, you know what I mean, on that level since I had been down there. So I'm like, oh my God, I done came down here. So I'm devastated. And then along with me being devastated, the man had a baby that was like a couple months old from a one-time encounter via tag. So I'm literally like, he already got a little baby. And now I'm pregnant. And I told him, I said, I am not looking to be another baby mama. Like, I don't desire that. If we are not going to do this the right way, then I'm not going to proceed with, keeping the child in my possession. I told him that I would, have the baby adopted. Try to have somebody within my family adopt the baby because I had experienced that. I have cousins who were adopted by a great aunt. So I'm like, I'm emotional. I'm just thinking of all the things that I could do to help myself. And that was one of the things that I thought about. And he's like, no child man is going to be with anybody other than me, da-da-da-da-da-da. He like, no, we'll be good. You'll be good. We'll figure this out, whatever. So I'm like, sir, I'm down here by myself. And he's like, well, don't worry because, I have family here. So his mom was there. He had two sisters that lived in El Paso and a younger brother. They were all on a different area in the city, but they were there too. So he's like, you'll be good, da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't know your family, that's your family. But he's like, you'll be fine, a baby will be fine. He went and bought me a cash car so I can get back and forth to my appointment. So, he did stand up, he looked out for me immediately. He did. So now, like I mentioned, he has a little girl. So now that I'm pregnant and I'm like, okay, are we gonna get married? Like, what are we doing? Because again, like, I need my baby to have certain things that I know that you have access to because you're in the military. And I'm like, I don't want to because, but I'm like, all right, what are we doing? Because he said he wanted to marry me. So I'm like, when are we getting married? What are we doing? Well, unbeknownst to me, sitting there pregnant, the man was married already. He was married already. And I was pregnant. And he had a little baby. So here I am, pregnant to a married man.
Damn.
And what made me the most upset about that in particular is that his first wife was his sister's best friend. So I'm around, at this point, because now we're getting serious. We're talking about marriage, et cetera, et cetera. I'm around his mom. I'm around his sisters. And they're not girls, because you knew that your brother was already married. He had just had a baby. And now he's bringing me around saying that he's going to marry me. And I'm pregnant. And I didn't know that he was married. I did not know. But when I found out, I'm like, oh, so this makes sense. Now I understand why your daughter's last name is not yours. Now I understand why you have to give your daughter's mom money via a bank account that you had to open. Like, a lot of stuff was adding up now that didn't make sense before when it came to like how he handled his business with his other child and how he was handling things when it came to him and I. So I'm like, okay, I tried to figure out, or not figure out, but find out like what happened in that marriage. He said he got married really young. She was like, they were like 18, 19, and they got married. They were high school sweethearts, but she supposedly had been cheating on him, and he just hadn't had any communication with her in the last couple of years. And I'm like, okay, well, again, even if you're not communicating with her, sir, you're married. You are married. And I was so devastated because, again, how I was raised, like, I'm carrying your child and you're married. Like, how do I explain that to my mother? How do I explain that to my grandmother? Like, how do I explain that to my family? Like, your family doesn't care, clearly, but I knew that mine would. And he's like, I'm going to do the divorce. I'm going to do it. I should be able to do it without any, since her and I haven't been in any contact, I should be able to do it, but it's going to cost me XYZ, da-da-da. So I'm like, okay. So come to find out, y'all, how about his daughter's mom had no clue I existed. She did not know that this man, clearly she didn't know that he was married because his daughter was the result of a one-time encounter. And she did not know that he now had another baby on the way and that we were now living together. She had no clue I existed. And I knew she existed, but there was no reason for her and I to have any communication at that time. Nonetheless, so
she still married.
I found out that she actually helped him pay for the divorce, because he essentially had told her, like, if you help me pay for this divorce, it'll help us when it comes to his daughter's benefits via the military. So this woman, unbeknownst to me, my boyfriend, because he was my boyfriend at the time, was having his daughter's mom, his baby mama, help him pay for his divorce, and I had no clue about her. Well, I knew about her, but she had no clue about me. Yep, so, yes, his baby mama helped him pay for the divorce, and if you're wondering how did I find that out, I actually found that out via text message between him and her, because they were texting, and I was like, why are y'all texting? Why are you acting like I can't know what y'all texting about? And I looked at his phone, and that's when all hell broke loose, and I found out. And he was a very, like, look, this is very, like, macho, like, this is what it is, this is what it's gonna be. And he's like, look, I have to do what I have to do, because you were putting pressure on me to do this divorce stuff for this baby, da-da-da. And I'm over here like, so you use this woman to fund your divorce? Wow. And if you like, girl, but you still married him. I was young and and yes, my frontal lobe wasn't developed. I'm 21 years old. Again, I had my first baby at 16. I'm in El Paso, Texas. No family, a couple friends, and these are people who I've known less than a year, and pregnant. So yeah.
You still married him.
Okay, so here we are. We're married now. We got married fall of 2012. I had our first son together, early winter of 2012, and now here we are 2013. So it's 2013. He's in the Army, so he's in his training unit. So when you're in a training unit, they always are in the field. So they go to the field for quite some time, come back, go to the field quite some time, come back. So he would be gone anywhere for a couple weeks, a couple months at a time, and then come home. So because of those long time periods when he would come home, it was like, like a whole lot of stuff was going on. And I mean physical stuff. I'm trying to, of course, not try to get in trouble on TikTok. So I'm like, okay, we doing all this. I just had that baby. I'm nursing, so I'm not on any birth control. So are you going to do something to prevent us from having any more children? He did not want to do anything, so we just kept doing like we was doing. I was nursing, so to me, the nursing was helping me not get pregnant. Well, that only lasted for so long. Early 2013, like around springish, I found out I'm pregnant because I lost the baby. So I was about 2.5 months. They said I should, like 11 to 12 weeks pregnant, and I had a miscarriage. I was very emotional, very distraught. I called my then husband, and I'm like, I was pregnant. And he's like, huh? Like, how? I'm like, well, how, but, I just lost the baby. And there was no, like, I'm sorry to hear that. It was just very, like, ooh, good. What? So, luckily for me, he was away at training, and luckily for me, I had, a church family, and I had, my couple friends. AW was really there for me during that time, because I was tore up. I was 23 years old and just suffered a miscarriage. It was really, really hard time for me. So, he comes back from the field that summer. Well, I get pregnant again. So, literally lost the baby, get pregnant immediately. This time I waited, a little bit. I wanted to wait, till I got past the 12 weeks. And then I tell my then husband, like, I'm pregnant. I'll never forget, it was Halloween this time in 2014. So I told him, and he was just like, I'm all babied out. Like, this is it. Like, after this, you're going to have to do something. And I'm over here like, oh, because I'm getting myself pregnant, right? And I'm like, why you can't do anything? He refused to get a vasectomy because his dad got a vasectomy. I'm saying, y'all know what I'm trying to say. And no longer could function. So he's like, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's up to me, right? So I was going through pregnancy with our youngest son together. And that was a very hard pregnancy. I was trying to do a VBAC. With our first son together, I had to have a C-section just like I did with my oldest son in 2007. So I had one in 2012, and now here we are 2014, and I was trying to have a VBAC because my doctor was like, you're so young, you should be able to. Well, my body just did not allow that to happen. But nonetheless, before I gave birth, we decided, my ex-husband and I, that I would get my tubes tied. And I'll never forget, that doctor kept like asking me, like, are you sure? Because, if you're familiar with the military lifestyle, he's like, you're really young. This is like, I just want to make sure that you're sure. And I was like, yeah, I hate to say it. I'm like, I don't want to be like a lot of other specialist wives and have like 11 kids. And this was my third, I was getting ready to have my third child. And he already had a child. I'm like, 4 kids, that's I think I'm good. And the doctor was like, okay, so I had my baby boy on June 11th of 2014. And I was so, of course, happy and emotional. He was born right after my grandmother's birthday, my angel. And I was happy. And my ex-husband had got orders earlier that year to go to Korea. We had decided that I would not go to Korea. I would stay stateside with our children because I had a very good career. I love my church, and he only needed to do a year or so there. So it just made absolutely no sense for us to uproot our children for me to go out the country. So here we are, June of 2011, So as he was preparing to get ready to go to Korea, we were like planning trips. So our plan was to go see his family. He's from California. To go see his family that were in California, his aunts and their children in July, and we were going to Chicago to see my family in August. So kind of like, summer vacation, 2 weeks back to back, a week in LA and a week in Chicago. So the end of July, early August, we were traveling, and he was due to leave like August 14th-ish, something like that. It was like right after our trips. He literally was just going to have a couple days, and then he was going right back out the country. So here we are, and we are in LA, and I could not do anything physically. So, because I just had a freaking C-section, and I just got a tooth. So I couldn't do anything. My doctor was very adamant, like, you need to chill because of the freshness of my scars, and because I have 2 separate C-section scars because my middle son and my third son are so close in age that they couldn't use the same cut. They had to cut me again. So they had to cut me again. So I'm going through all this to give this man children, to have children. And
give y'all children together in matrimony.
Yeah, so excuse me. So I couldn't do anything physically, of course. He knew that. I knew that. And we were getting ready to go back out of town. So we did our first trip. We went to LA, took kids to Disney, did all those things. And then it was time for us, like right before it was time for us to go to Chicago. So he got up and was like, I'm getting ready to go to an appointment. And I was like, okay. So I guess you can call it woman intuition. But something just didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right that morning. I got up, just discernment, definitely, because I know God has been with me through this whole situation. And I'm just like, I don't know how to, I'm just looking around. I'm like, man, something just don't feel right today. So he went to an appointment and he came back. So when he came back, he had this routine. He was one of them type of men, or he is, because he still does this. And even though we're not together and he's remarried, oh yeah, we'll talk about that too. I knew his routine. So he came home and he goes straight to the bathroom. Like, he's one of them people that do number 2 and be in there about 30, 45 minutes. He just be in there for a long time, okay? I didn't like the way that I'm very, funny about smells and that type of stuff, so I wouldn't bother him. So he came home and he went into our master's bedroom's bathroom. And you know how, the toilet was a separate room. And I was in the front. And I was like, hey, how was your appointments, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, he was just very, dry. And I don't know how to explain it. And I was just like, man, math ain't math. And, something not right. So I go out to the car because he was in my car. And I opened my car door. And the first thing that I noticed is that my badges were not on the rear view mirror. I used to hang up my badges. And even though I was on maternity leave, the badges had been here. So, mind you, like I said, this is early August. So, I'm like, why are the badges coming? They've been there. I looked at them and I seen them. Then I look into where my baby's car seats were, and I'm an Aries. So I'm the type of person, even in chaos, I'm gonna notice when something is happening. So when something is different. So I look in the back, I'm looking at the boys' car seats, and the way that they were buckled in, the way that they were in the car was not the way that I did it. So it's another red flag. So I'm like, something ain't right. So some told me man, check the gas, check the miles on the car, because I didn't have any plans to go anywhere that day. I was doing homework. That's what I was doing. I was at the house with my babies and doing homework. So I go get the keys to my car. I start the car, and the first thing I notice is the mileage. And I'm like, because I got that car, and I know y'all gonna be like, why? Because I got that car brand new. That was my first real nice vehicle. It was a Honda Fit, but again, that was my first real nice vehicle, and it didn't have any miles when I got it. So I would notice, it was like a significant amount of miles, on it. I'm like, what the heck is all these? So I'm looking, I'm like, it ain't no way he was at just on base. There's no way, because again, like I said, we live in off-base housing that was right there by, if you're familiar with El Paso, there is a housing community called Paso del Norte, which is literally less than a mile from the base. So I'm over here like, something right, like something is not right. So I'm nursing and I'm on my laptop, and then something just clicked, like his laptop, because that man kept his laptop and had his laptop with him at all times. He was very like, my laptop, like he had that laptop with him at all times. And I never went, other than that situation with his daughter's mom and me looking through his phone and seeing their communications, and I didn't go through his things because, again, the way I was raised, if you know anything about religion, I wanted to trust him. And, my grandmother always said, you go looking for something, you're going to find it. Like, you go looking for trouble, trouble will find you. So, but something about this day told me to check his laptop. So, I go and I say, hey, something is wrong with my laptop. Can I just use yours real quick? I need to make sure I get this paper turned. So kind of like giving it like a sense of urgency type situation. And he was very like, oh yeah. So I knew, like, again, I knew this man. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to make this fast. Like, I'm gonna go look through, get the laptop and just kind of like real quick, like just see what's going on with it. Pause.
Damn.
So I have his laptop.
She done went put on a whole.
With my baby. So my baby's nursing. The laptop is here, and I knew that because I had the laptop that he was going to not spend as much time in the bathroom as he normally does. But I was on a mission. Like I said, I'm like, my woman's intuition was like, something is not right. The energy, the smell, something just was not right. And when I say the smell, I don't mean like I smelled something on him, but just something in the air just was not right. So he's in the restroom. I'm in our family room, and I started going through that laptop. I'm going through everything, and I end up finding a whole bunch of deleted emails, or should I say, I end up finding a whole bunch of, like, you know how you go on a web page, right? And excuse my, I'm not really tech savvy, right? He is, and that's why he was able to take advantage of. Anywho, he was visiting Craigslist quite regularly. Now, full transparency, that was not something that raised a red flag immediately, and that's because we use Craigslist all the time. Like, mind you, this was 2014, so we use Craigslist to find houses, furniture, cars, etc. So him being on Craigslist did not raise a eyebrow like, what is he doing on Craigslist? So I didn't really look too deep until I started noticing, like, like MLT, ML, like man seeking, and I'm looking like, what the hell is all these? Like, why is he clicking these? So he was clicking the ads, which means that you were corresponding, but I couldn't find the correspondence for the most part, right? I couldn't find anything. So he was smart. He was deleting the stuff, but you were clicking on these ads. You clicked on multiple of these ads, and one in particular caught my eye. And again, I had checked my vehicle, I checked my mileage, and I'm looking, and I'm like, this man, something just literally like dropped in my spirit. Like, he just came back. He just came back from hooking up with somebody. He just came back. And prior to this moment, I never had, if you're wondering, like, did you have any inkling or any, like, anything that would make you feel like he was being unfaithful? I did not. And I'm gonna tell you why. I did not, because again, like, first of all, the man was so, he didn't talk. He was very just like, and then along with that, I mean, I just did not think. I mean, not to toot my own horn again. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, and then I'm thinking about what he carrying. You feel my drift? I would have never thought that he would choose to be unfaithful. But I was wrong. So I look and I'm like, wait a minute. This one caught my, like, one of the web browser links that he had visited and deleted that was in his history, deleted history, caught my attention. Again, this was over a decade ago, so excuse me if I'm kind of like all over, but I remember that moment. I remember sitting on the couch like I am right now. I remember seeing that, and I remember like just snapping. So laptop goes shut with the baby in the bassinet, my other baby, running around the house, and I opened the bathroom door. I opened that bathroom door and I said, where did you just come from? Where did you just come from? And he just looked and he was looking, he like, I'm using the bathroom. And I was like, I said, you been meeting people on Craigslist? So I instantly, like, again, I'm from Chicago. So I'm like, you been meeting people on Craigslist? My ninja? Like, you been, like, what are we doing? What have you been doing? Because I'm over here healing from having a baby and getting prepared. What have you been doing? So I'm snapping, I'm going crazy. I mean, going crazy. He's still in the bathroom. He didn't close the bathroom, pushed me out the bathroom, locked himself in the bathroom. I said, oh, okay, even better. So I'm snapping, I'm going crazy. So I said, I got something for you. I said, let me call your mama. And I said, let me call your mama because he is every bit of a mama's boy. And in his mama's eyes, the man can't do no wrong, even now. Even up to now, with all the turmoil, all the trauma, all the things that he's putting me through, even in this very moment, his mother does not see him as doing any harm. So I called his mom. I said, oh, I just want you to know that your son is cheating on me. Your son, he's cheating on me. He did this, he did that. I just had this baby. He's cheating on me. I hang up on her. I call my mama. Just so you know, your son-in-law did XYZ to me. Like, then after that, I'm like, I'm done. Because to me, I'm like, you've literally, I was disgusted. Disgusted is the understatement. Then I started thinking, I'm like, when did you have time? I'm all over the place. So I'm going crazy. I'm grabbing his stuff out the closet. Our closet was right there in the bathroom. It was a big old bathroom. So I'm grabbing his stuff out the closet. I'm like, you got to go, my brother. I don't care where you go, but you got to go. So I'm putting his stuff at the house. He's literally like, of course, again, we in the housing community. So he's, like, no, trying to come. I'm like, no. So I'm putting him out, and in the middle of me putting him out, so his response, now, this man woke up out of nowhere a couple months prior to this and decided that he didn't believe in God. So he was like, he never went to church with me, and his response to my anger and to the way that I was acting was immediately, of course, flight or fly, something like that. And he calls my pastor.
Fight or flight.
He don't go to church. You just decided that you want to become an atheist out of nowhere. I'm like, what is this? Anywho, we'll talk about that too. So nonetheless, I'm like, he didn't call my pastor. So while I'm in the bathroom, I'm going crazy. I'm snapping. He stayed in that bathroom, y'all, because we did have pew-pews in that house. And baby, I'm not gonna say where a pew-pew was, but it was there. It was in that closet where I was removing things from. So he wouldn't come out that bathroom because he was a coward, and he knew he
called
was not
the
going
pastor.
to face me face on because he was not going to. So he calls my pastor. My pastor lived all the way in West El Paso. I don't know how that man got from West El Paso to essentially like we were in northeast El Paso. I don't know how he made it there as quickly as he did, but he made it there very quickly. I told him what was going on. I was emotional. I was crying. I had on a nursing bra and literally sweatpants, and my pastor was in my home. And this is a Church of God in Christ, as y'all can see. Like, I was, I'm typically fully covered. So that's how you know that I was not in my right mind. And he calmed me down. He talked to me. He counseled us. He was there for quite some time. He was there for some hours.
Let me get some of that milk.
He was there for some hours, and I'm so grateful for my pastor at that time, because he literally he talked me off a ledge, because I was ready. I was ready. I was ready to do some stuff. So he counseled us. This is in the middle of the day. He didn't leave until wee hours in the morning, but he agreed. Like my then husband needed to leave. So I didn't care where he went. But I said he needed to go. He probably went to his mama's house.
Back to that world.
He left our home that night. So fast forward, like I mentioned, we were getting ready to go to Chicago. So we did go to Chicago. We went to that trip as planned, and it was not a comfortable trip. Only reason, and if you're wondering, like, why did you still go? Because first of all, I spent, my money on that plane ticket. So again, this is coming from El Paso to Chicago. This is a couple $1,000s. I wasn't about to not go see my family. I wasn't about to not go see my grandmother, take my newborn down there to go see my family, just because he was being an imbecile. Like, I'm not going to do that. I wasn't going to ruin, or stop, and then my oldest son was excited to go home and see his cousins. I wasn't going to do that to him, nor was I going to do that to my family. I didn't tell anybody what was going on. The only person I knew was my mother. I know I'm seeing my family following my page now, and y'all probably like, what the heck? No, nobody knew, because it was no one's business, first of all. Second of all, it was embarrassing. Like, who wants to come back home like, hey, I'm visiting, I'm married with children, oh, and by the way, my husband cheats on me with people that he finds on Craigslist. Like, no, I wasn't going to do that. Now it's August. He has made it to Korea. Of course, everything that you can think of, he's promised me. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I kept asking him, he didn't want to discuss what happened. He did admit to me that day that I knew that something was off. He did admit to me that he had, just been unfaithful, and I lost my man, because I'm like, did you even protect yourself? He did not, but he would not go into details. I'm like, who was she? He would never tell me anything. He refused. Even to this day, this man will, I promise, he's gonna take the details of his infidelity to the grave with him, because that's just the type of person he is. He's the type of person you have to have solid proof in order for him to admit fault. Because he won't. So fast forward, now he's in Korea. Our conversation was very just, we corresponded at this point just via Facebook Messenger. I'm so grateful for Facebook Messenger, because Facebook Messenger has all these receipts for me. So here we are, and now it's time for me to go back to work. So I'm, getting ready to go back to work, and something just, I don't even know how to explain it. We were talking about something, him and I, via Messenger, and I don't know, like, I was just up one night, and someone was just like, keep looking, like, keep searching his stuff. So one of the things, or one of the agreements that we had in order for us to stay together, was he had to give me his passwords to all of his information. I didn't have that before, because I didn't feel the need. He didn't have my email address password. Why do I need that? Why did he need that? Like, but because of what was going on, now I'm like, I need all that. Like, I want all of it. So he, rewrote his vows, my vows to you, and at the end of his vows, he put all his passwords to everything. So now he's in Korea, and I'm looking at this, these vows and these passwords, blah blah blah, and some just told me, man, just dig a little deeper, do a little bit more research in his emails, because I know, of course, especially now, that you can have different folders, you can have different things, like you can do a lot with an email inbox. So I'm searching, and I'm seeing like these notifications in his spam for this website, this adultfinder.com, adult friend finder, something like that. So I'm like, that why is he getting these emails? Because to me, the only way that you would get some emails like this is if you were on a website, or if you were on a website that was connected to that website. Like, why are you getting these emails?
It's a spam folder.
But I'm searching, and something was just like, something is not adding up. So something told me to try to visit that website and to use his email and his passwords that he gave me. And lo and behold, I did. And lo and behold, it worked.
Oh,
So
this nigga.
I'm looking, and the first thing that I notice is the name on the profile says King Mir. My youngest son's name is King. His middle name is Jeremiah. The next thing I noticed is that he used my middle son's date of birth, November 2nd, and he used the year he was born. There was no pictures. When I scrolled down, I seen that he had, it was like a section where you can, basically put what you're looking for. And he put on there, just looking to have fun. Same thing he had on that damn tag page when I met him. Along with that, he put that he was specifically looking for transgender woman. And I'm like,
God.
what? You using my baby's name, my other baby's birthday. What? So I literally spaz out. He's not even in stateside. He's in Korea. I'm in the States.
She in there typing like a motherfucker on Facebook.
Yeah, I want a divorce. I sent him a message like, bruh, what is this? Now, imagine this is before screenshots and all that. So I'm taking a picture and I sent it to him. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? He's like, I don't know what that is. You don't know what this is, but it's using our children's information, and on top of that, it's in your email address. You're lying. You do know what this is. He swore up and down. He didn't know what it was. And again, I'm so grateful for Facebook, because I want to read specifically what his response was to me. And the reason that I am sharing this is because I want somebody else to heal. I hope my story helps somebody else.
This is not helping nobody heal.
Of course, you say all the things. I was trying to call him. He wasn't answering. I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted. So he tells me, this is verbatim, that is a lie. No, I didn't. No, don't know what that is. I swear. Then I call him. I'm snapping like I said, I'm like, I want a divorce. He goes, that's something I made before I met you, Ariella. I promise you, I didn't talk to nor meet anyone in that site. I forgot all about that. Yes, I wanted to try a tranny, but I didn't. Please, I did not make that. I did not make that last year. I don't even know how that account still exists. I'm sorry if you don't believe me or ever want to see me again. I understand. I'm sorry for the pain and hurt I caused you, but I did not make that last year. I have demons I'm trying to work out, and I know you are too hurt now to help me find my way. Please don't take the kids away from me or our family, or do anything to hurt them. I'm sorry. I told him he was disgusting. Called him, obscenity, said all those things. But the crazy part is, see how he said I didn't make that last year? The profile shows that it was created October of 2013. So October of 2013, literally, just a couple weeks before I gave birth to our first child together, he was creating that profile. It was a bold-faced lie. Like, I'm on I have access to the website. I have it right now, even to this day. I can show you. Like, it showed online. It showed it showed that he was actively using that page. You were. When I asked
She's
him,
still yelling at him. She's mad.
Asked him over and over again. You know, did you meet somebody on there? Did you meet somebody on here? He swore me down. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. When I asked him, had you slept with a transgender woman? He swore me down. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But to this day, I don't believe him. To this day, because why was there so many attempts? And not only that, I just don't believe him. I don't believe him. I don't. But
so many attempts.
I found that profile, and he was overseas. And essentially, what do you do? So I limited my communication with him. I kept myself. I was in school, like I mentioned. I'm in school online. I have a career. I'm active in church. So I kept myself occupied for quite some time. For quite some time, I kept myself occupied. Our communication was specifically generally when we would talk would be just about our children. We didn't really talk about anything else. Fast forward to 2015, and
let's have fun. Remember, since October 26th. Gotcha, bitch. Ooh.
So he's in Korea, and I have just found out that he has created, or literally late October, just a few days before I gave birth to our first child together, that he created a profile on adultfinder.com, searching specifically for transgender women to hook up with. I was disgusted. I was disgusted to the point of no words, no communication. There was nothing that could be said. There was nothing he could say. He kept, like I mentioned in my last video, demons. He mentioned demons. Yeah, the demon. You're the demon. But anywho, fast forward. So this was in August. Fast forward. I just kept living life. So, the rest of 2014, I was focused on me, my kids, schoolwork, my career. I had a really good job. And my church family, being active in church. I was a Sunday school teacher. I was on the praise team. Like, I occupied myself as a 24-year-old married woman who literally was going through hell behind closed doors in her marriage. I just occupied myself. When him and I would speak, we would speak primarily about our children. It was very vague. He would, of course, make all these promises. Oh, I love you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that when we get back stateside, et cetera, et cetera. He, felt the need to tell me what he was doing from sun up to sundown. But I'm also like, the damage was already done, So fast forward to now, 2015, early 2015, I was planning my kids' christening. So like I mentioned in my last video, he woke up one day and decided that he wanted to become an atheist. So I'm like, look, I'm getting the boys ready for their christening, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have time for whatever you're trying to talk about. And literally a few weeks before my baby's christening, his grandfather passed away. And his grandfather was a very important figure in his life. And despite all the hurt and all the things that I was going through, I was there for that man. I was there for him. I was there for him because I knew that he was going through. His dad wasn't in his life. And his grandfather was basically, a huge part of his childhood and his life. And he was gone. So he got, of course, if you're familiar with the military life, he got Red Cross. He got brought back stateside. And he was like, you know what? I got a custom suit made. I'm going to come to the church for the boys christening. And at the time, little naive me is like, oh my God, he's coming to church. Like, you know, because he will refuse to go to church. He was like, I don't believe in God, you know. But now I'm over here like, nah, it's just them demons was so heavy on you. You probably was scared to walk in a church. But anywho, yeah, so he, you know, I planned, I had already had the christening plan and, you know, stuff in motion. Again, his grandfather's untimely death, you know, was sad, you know, a sad occasion, but eventually, it kind of, because of us being in El Paso and him being from California, his family, you know, was able to come, his siblings, he's the middle of 6, he's a middle child, if you know, you know. They were all came down for my baby's christening, both of my boys' christening, all came to the church. And I just, you know, smiled and was holding my baby and, you know, and being a good old wife. And in the inside, just dealing with so much hell and turmoil. And it's crazy because when he was down, like, he was so, like, he physically, it was not it for me. I'm just like, this is not it. Like, my body was not even feeling him. So he comes to the church for the christening, and it was just the most awkward thing ever for me. Because I knew he didn't want to be there, but nonetheless, he did it. He was here for, you know, a week or so in Texas, stateside for R&R, back to Korea he went. So again, I'm just living life. I'm, you know, if you know anything about military life, he getting that separation pay, he getting them checks, baby, I'm just swiping cards. I ain't got nothing to talk to you about. You know, like, I'm making sure my kids are straight. They were living good, we were living good, and I hate to say it, I was glad that he was gone. Because it just allowed me to just be without the stress and the drama. But on the flip side, it's also like, it also forced me to not deal with what we had going on. So, he was due to come back in later on that year in 2015. And when he got his orders, he didn't get orders to be stationed in El Paso again. He got orders to be stationed in Kansas, in Junction City, Fort Riley, if you know, you know. And that's when I got my lick back.
Ooh-wee.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Part 9.
There she go.
Part 9 of my
Ari looking ass.
info on a dating website. Excuse me, looking for a transgender. Okay, so here we are. Now it's 2015. I decided, after him being in Kansas for a few months by himself, that I would bring the children and we would come on down to Kansas. He made all these promises of things that we would do differently in the marriage, and I got down there and we went to counseling one time. Yes, you heard me correctly, one time. During the counseling session, nothing was done. He would not admit fault. He refused to discuss what he did or what he was doing. He refused to. So I'm like, why are we going to counseling? He basically tells me that's some white people stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, we need it. We need something, because come on now. So anywho, I'm in Kansas. I already had a job lined up for me, because I'm that type of person. If y'all had noticed from the very beginning, prior to me even meeting him, I'd like to make sure things are in line before I come to a different place. So I already had a job lined up. I started the job, so I'm working. I'm occupying myself. I'm still in school. I'm getting the kids, used to the new state, used to the new base, and I'm just living life. Now, him and I'm gonna be honest, when we were in Kansas, we weren't dating, we weren't doing anything, we weren't doing any work to resolve our marital issues at all. We did not. We were literally just cohabitating with each other. And I'll never forget, it was a day that he was on his phone, and he was acting very, very suspicious, very weird. And I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? He was like, basically, this is my phone. And I snapped, we snapped, and thank God my children were never around. I will say this, my kids, for the most part, were always at daycare or something around the time that him and I would have like these disagreements. This is the first time that we had a really, really bad disagreement, because I'm upset. I'm over here like, what are you doing on your phone? At this time, I'm like, to me, you should literally be handing me your phone. Like, here, you know, look at my phone. You shouldn't have anything to have. But he was acting super suspicious and would not let me see his phone. So we got into it. And things became physical. This was the first time that I had literally like ever like other than the situation when I first had my baby, I really lost my
So
man.
it's the second
I lost
time.
my man because I'm like, first of all, I'm still dealing with the PTSD of what you've already put me through, and now here I am again dealing with something, and you making me feel like I'm a crazy person, and I know for a fact that you were doing something you were not supposed to do. Anywho, believe it or not, I lost it very badly. I don't want to go into details of what I did, but unfortunately I got arrested, and
Oh Lord.
I was in jail, and I had to have actually had my kid's babysitter. She had to come and bail me out because I was in freaking Kansas, Fort Riley, and I don't have any family, of course, in that area. So at that moment, as I was going through all of that, I was like, yeah, this is becoming too much for me. Like, this is it. Like, I need to separate from this man. So after spending a weekend in a jail cell, I was like, yeah, we're done. We're done. We need to separate. You know, of course, I'm here. I just got here not too long ago. I am not, you know, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not. I'm like, we just gonna be here, cohabitate. You have your space, I have mine. So that's what we did. We cohabitated, and I just worked, kept myself occupied. I started connecting with people in Kansas, and I started, you know, I love what I did. I loved my job. I was a trainer. I was connecting with, you know, other coworkers, and I was traveling too. So because my job required me to travel, I didn't really I was busy. Between work, school, kids. I was busy. So again, I occupied myself. Unfortunately, while I was in Kansas, I dropped the ball when it came to my spiritual faith. I was just kind of like, I was 25, and I got to the point where I was just like, I've always been straight and narrow for the most part. I just wanted to be young. Like, I didn't know what it was to like go out with, you know, a group of people and that type of stuff. And believe it or not, I was like, I want to be young. I want to go out. So I started going out regularly with my coworkers. Like, I had a really good group of coworkers, and we would always go out. And it was one coworker in particular who, like, we just, you know, we started developing a friendship. But all of us had a friendship, but this friendship became like really different for me. I am one of those women who I'm like trying to tread lightly. This year I got diagnosed with being on the spectrum. So I am autistic and I have ADHD, but these are things I didn't know about myself at that time, but now that I do, it all makes sense. So I'm saying that to say, like, I struggle with, like, you know, connecting and just not being, so I'm a very unique individual when it comes to like friendships and creating friendships. But this person like was really like we were vibing.
Was this person a guy?
Like musical taste, you know, I love music. I am a music head. So I'm like, we love music, we chilling. We had a lot of things that we had in common. A lot of things that I experienced in life, that person experienced in life as well. So we were developing a real friendship. I found myself like catching feelings. And when I found myself catching feelings, I'm like, okay, like I'm married to this man and I'm catching feelings for someone else. It was very, very rough. Excuse me. Cue Jasmine Sullivan. I'm in love with another man. Like, it was so rough because I'm literally like, I didn't know that I can feel this way about someone. I didn't know I can enjoy, you know, conversation. I didn't know someone can make me feel like, you know, just super feminine, super just in my natural element, love me for who I was. I overly appreciated that. And we started talking. Now again, just to reiterate, me and my now ex-husband were separated, right? We were living together, but we were separated. Of course, my opinion when it comes to that is...
God don't like that.
Or should I say my point of view? Because my point of view and his is going to be totally different. My thing is, even though we were separated, I kind of feel like he thought like, you know, she just don't want to be bothered for now. She's going through, he will always say, you in a mood, you in a mood. He's like, she's probably just in one of her moods. We'll be good. Well, until he realized that I was on the phone all the time talking to someone, and he like, who you talking to? And I'm like, bruh, I pay this phone bill. Don't ask me who I'm talking to, right? So I never like, I wasn't answering no questions. I just felt like he did not have that right. Like, do some work, like do some inner work. Work on yourself before you start to, you know, question me. But that never happened. He never did any inner work. Of course, I wasn't doing any inner work because I didn't have the knowledge and the mental wellness and the mental, you know, capacity that I have now. I was just enjoying the moment. Well, if you know, you know. The one thing, unfortunately, about most, you know, type of marriages like that or situations like that, they can dish it out, but they can't take it. So when he noticed, like, wait, she's really like spending time with somebody, and again, I was like, we separated, like, let it be known, like, amongst each other, like, we separated. And I started, you know, going out of town, spending time with, you know, this person, et cetera, and he kind of put two and two together. Like, clearly, you know, her and this person are not just friends. Like, something else is going on. And he went to Sprint because even though I paid my own phone bill, the bill was under his name. So he went to Sprint to get our, you know, like our call logs. And I'm laughing because it's like, what was all this energy at when it came to saving our marriage, or doing right? Like, but now suddenly you care about anywho.
You doing the same thing you did.
He goes to Sprint, he gets the call log, and of course he sees like my communications constantly with the same North Carolina number over and over and over. So he calls the number, and he's, you know, he snaps because, you know, phone, they're like, hello, and he just started going off. And she was like, that's between you and your wife. So yes.
She
was like, that's between y'all. Okay, so as I get deeper into what transpired, I just want to let it be known,
it's got interesting,
that I do not believe in adultery. God has delivered me from these things. However, I still have to share this part.
I've been delivered.
Okay, so as I mentioned in the last part, my ex-husband went and got our phone bills, and seeing that I was constantly talking to someone, and he called the number and was shocked to find out that it was not a man. He assumed it was a man. It was actually a woman. So when that happened, when he called her and found out, you know, she was like, you know, you need to talk to your wife, hung up. She was very like, I'm not getting involved with this. And he was calling me, he's acting erratic, he's, you know, going crazy. And I'm like, I'm gone. At this point, I had already, like, I literally had started looking at places. I actually had got an apartment. Excuse me. I got an apartment because I was for real, like, I'm getting up out of here. So I went and I got an apartment, and I guess that's when he was like, between that and then now finding out, like, you know, she's talking to someone, I guess it kind of like was all finally hitting him, like, this woman is really about to leave me. So again, I'm living life. She ghosted me. After he called her, she ghosted me. Now that caught me off guard. Because like I said, her and I were like clicking, we were vibing, we worked together, right? But she was ghosting me outside of work. So I would see her at work and she would be like super busy. We were both in management roles, so I kind of like, I was letting her be, because I'm like, you know, you working, I'm working. I'm not gonna chase behind you. I don't want you chasing behind me, because of course fraternization. And I was actually already in a leadership position when she joined the company. Like I was already a boss when she came in. And then she got promoted. So anywho, long story short, I was kind of like, okay, like this is different. So her and I weren't,
Damn.
like I said, she ghosted me. So it kind of was bothering me because this happened, him finding out about her, all that was on the weekend. Now it's a new week. And she was still kind of like, I'm not getting involved with that. I'm not communicating, not texting me. And I'm like, okay, all right. So again, when it came to him, I'm just like, bruh, like, me and you done for the umpteenth time. So you're going to hear me say that a lot during the series. But again, young, naive, and dumb. Or should I say young, naive, and learning. Okay, so at this time, I'm 25. I'm still very, very young. So again, as she's ghosting me, he's also like trying to communicate with me, trying to finally open up, trying to finally, like make this work. Again, all the promises, all the,
Promises.
yeah, all the things that you can think of. So I told him, I said, you know what, like, you do you as you've already been doing, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave. And he told me, you go, but these kids not going nowhere. And was like, you're a fool if you think that I'm going to let you take these kids with you. And also, you're a fool if you think that you're going to get away with this. He's like, you're not. Like, I have proof. Like, he was like, you ain't got no proof that I did XYZ. Is your word against mine. Like, but I have proof. You was doing this, you was doing that. Like, you admitted that you were, physical with her and you did this and did. So, I was terrified.
Oh, so she was.
He basically, like, he would not let me come into that house. He wouldn't let me come into that house. And I'm like, okay, what the heck do I do? My kids. So I'm dealing with her essentially ghosting me, but seeing her every day. And I'm also dealing with him, basically not allowing me back inside of our house. And I wasn't really staying there anyways, but still, like, he was not allowing me to mother my children. So I'm like, nah, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. So him and I, of course, going back and forth per usual. And he finally breaks down. He's like, you don't understand the hurt that you caused me by doing this. You did the same thing that MW did to me. So MW is his first wife. So up until now, here we are, late 2015, early 2016. He's never really talked about that situation. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So come to find out, his first wife cheated on him and was, sleeping with the same sex as well. Ooh,
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know. Anywho, so I'm over here. He basically, again, like, master manipulator. Like, now that I'm older, now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, this man was such a manipulator, and my little young and naive self just falling for all of it. And that's why he doesn't
At
like
least
me
you
right
know
now.
now.
Because or he doesn't like me at all. He's probably not gonna like me for the rest of our lives, because I finally, like, realized, like, who he was. So at that time, I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's finally opened up, talking about this, and he crying and weeping. I had never really seen that man cry, like, never. Even when it came to the situation when I found out about him being unfaithful, he was more so, to me, you were most so, embarrassed that you got caught, but he was not. Like, in this moment, he was emotional, because I think he finally realized, like, she's she kind of done with me. But anywho, so him opening up about that kind of, like, had me emotional, had me confused yet again for the umpteenth time whether or not I wanted to stay in the marriage. So finally, her and I got to the point where I got tired of her ghosting me. She wasn't replying to my calls and texts. So I went to her house. Again, we in Junction City, Kansas. This city is like this small, okay? It's one of everything. One Walmart, one Starbucks, one CVS. Was it even CVS or Walgreens? One of those. One McDonald's. Like, this is a really small city. So I got fed up. I'm like, I'm about to go to her house. So I went to her house. And yeah, I went to her house. And I'm like, what's going on? And she like, Ari, you need to really, figure out what's going on with, your kids and your husband. Like, I respect that. I don't want any of that drama. I'm like, that's cool, but you, like, really ghosted me. Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And
she was just like, you know, I just don't want no parts of this, da da da. And again, like, my discernment is like, I'm smelling. I'm like, something ain't right, something not right. So I kind of put two and two together. I'm like, you dealing with somebody else? Yeah, she done broke my little naive heart.
I mean, you still
like,
technically married.
You're a whole married woman and you over here asking me about what I'm doing. And I was emotional. I was a wreck. I was like, oh, she done broke my heart. And of course, I ran back to what I knew. So I went on back to that house, brokenhearted.
Take me back.
Essentially was like, I'm stuck. I done got this apartment, thinking that her and I was for the ride off to the sunset. Cause I was in lust, and she was, you know, she wasn't thinking about me in that level. I thought, you know, again, I didn't know no better. I had never really experienced anything like that, but come to find out, you know,
she left church and went,
wow. Years later, and I was, you know, and she shared with me like, girl, you had so much going on, you know, it's no beef now that we're in our 30s. So she like, you had so much going on. She said that man was calling me, threatening me. He was calling her. Yeah. But anywho, so all in all, that quickly came to an end. So I was devastated, and again, I was just like, I guess I felt like I had to stay because he had proof that I had been unfaithful. And I felt like because he was a government, you know, he was an army, I feel like I've seen it over the years. I've experienced it's always the soldier, never the, you know, the spouse. So I let very well be, and I continue to exist in that marriage. And then we decided that we would leave Kansas because he didn't want me there anymore.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. We back in the confessional, and yes, we staying lit, big dog, man. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Shout out to my homeboy Lucky Wheels of Deals. He keeps it lit. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. Make sure y'all hit up HiveMindLabs.com, okay? Super fat burners, unbig that back with a little diet and exercise. Everything will be all right. Now, there's more parts to this story, and we're going to catch up on that later. But we're going to talk about what happened first, okay? It was a lot of stuff that was going on in this. A lying, cheating dog of a man, okay? When you mention military, you saw you got to know. That's all you got to know. That fool in the military, he cheating. He's sleeping with somebody. Unfortunately, this guy wanted a man dressed as a woman, okay? He wanted a transgender. He wanted to identify his partner as a girlfriend. Well, this woman knows she, you know, when she was finding all this stuff. I don't know what it is about woman's intuition. Y'all always say it's a woman intuition. I just think y'all nosy. I don't think it has anything to do with a woman's intuition. Y'all just know we be cheating. It ain't the intuition. He just not that into you. And you be like, why he ain't touching me? Am I not cute? Oh, he gotta be sleeping with somebody else. Let me go look at his phone. It be that. Or men, we do the same thing. She says he does his thing in routine. She knows his routine. So once his routine gets off, she like, wait a minute. He didn't come and take a crap when he came in the house. Oh, let me go check his laptop because something's off. Like, because if he changes his ways, a woman automatically thinks something else didn't happen. So I don't know if it's woman intuition or if y'all just some nosy motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Church of God in Christ. You know what I'm saying? That's how my pops was raised. And like, let me tell you, man, we went to church with my grandma Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes 2 and 3 times on some of them days. Like, we'll leave the church. Well, we gotta go back. We just left. We came home, ate, and we going back. Like, this is not fair. I just want to play outside. I'm tired of playing with these church kids. They not roguish. They used to be in here. They in there singing the songs, joining the choir. We only come here on weekends when my mom and them then went out and got drunk. And they don't want to come pick us up early. Now we in church all day. Shout out to the Church of God in Christ. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, because I went on my whole family journey and that took me back. But yeah, but being off in that church, yeah, it was very strict. So seeing that she got so far off course and went straight to, I don't know I don't know if she was pushed like from being in church all the time to when she kind of got out and about and experienced having friends around, that she had this relationship with a woman that I don't think that had anything to do with her like being in church and wanting to rebel. It was just her hurt and pain. Woman, speaking of woman, studs, they really know how to, they know how to get a woman. Especially because she was going through a breakup. She's still married. She's been hurt. She just needs somebody to talk to. She had a girl that was a friend that really liked her, like white women. And she made her feel comfortable. And, at that point, she is already loosened up. So I'm pretty sure they may have had 1 or 2 drinks one night. She do kind of breeze over that a lot, which, like, there's things in this story that she breezes over, and I understand why, because maybe it's too much hurt within it. Like she was breezing over some of the things her husband was doing. Then she'll breeze over some of the things that she was doing. She breeze over the altercations, and she would, like, maybe because it was too much hurt, but you could tell that it was stuff there. Again, it was one part where she got up and she was choking, and I laughed at it, but one of her comments say that she was choking because it was just made her sick to her stomach just thinking about what was going on. There's also a comment in here that says, it's a person that knew her in El Paso was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were going through all this. And Ari replies, it wasn't anyone's business to know, but yes, you never know what a person is going through. And right, it wasn't nobody's business. She did. That goes to show that how she says that she kept it to herself. Like, she was to herself. She wasn't an open person. She says she's on the spectrum. I don't know if that's just a thing nowadays, because everybody's on the spectrum. Hell, I might be on the spectrum because I'm a retarded ass nigga. Okay, but she didn't reach out to nobody. She had no family. She's from Chicago. She didn't feel like opening up to nobody. She had her first child young. She was 20 with a second child, married by 21 with a third child. And she went through so many ages, I don't even know. First child before she was 20, second child by 21, third child by 23, I guess. She's 25 at this point in the story. And yeah, it was, she was young, dumb. She started early. She didn't live life, so I can understand when she did wild out. She had no life, so she didn't have no friends. So her opening up to somebody, there wasn't nobody. She was in church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again, twice. So it's a wonder that her husband did call the pastor. He was probably tired of going to church with her. Like, damn it, if I gotta go to church one more time, I'm gonna become an atheist. And he did, okay. But he knew when when she was on his ass, he knew to call the Lord. Pastor, I'm ready to give my life back to God. Because this woman finna kill me. Yep, he knew it. Everyday people, man, we gonna finish this off. Hopefully, it gets a little better. I did not hear any of it, but I seen a caption, and I think it's gonna get sad, and we just gonna have to catch up with it tomorrow. Okay, everyday people, man, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.